Have you ever asked your child to do something 3 times and somehow they still act like they never heard you? You say, "Put your shoes on." Nothing. You say, "Come here, please." Still nothing. And 5 minutes later, you're wondering, why does my child listen to other people but not me? If that sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone. But here's something many parents don't realize. Sometimes the biggest reason children seem to ignore us is not stubbornness, laziness, or disrespect. It's that we're giving instructions in a way their developing brain struggles to respond to. And once you understand that mistake, you can start changing it. Young children are still developing something called executive function. That's the brain system responsible for attention, impulse control, working memory, and following through on instructions. The Harvard Center on the Developing Child describes these skills as the brain's air traffic control system. And in little children, that system is still under construction. So when your child is deeply focused on blocks, cartoons, a toy car, or even their own emotions, your words may not land the way you think they do. It's not always defiance. Sometimes it's a brain that hasn't switched tracks yet. Psychiatrist Daniel Siegel often talks about the importance of connection before correction. When a child feels rushed, flooded, distracted, or disconnected, their listening drops. Not because they want to make your life harder, but because their brain is busy doing something else. Think of it like trying to talk to someone wearing noise-canceling headphones while staring at a complicated puzzle. They're not refusing to answer. They're just not fully available yet, and that leads to one of the biggest mistakes parents make: giving instructions from a distance too often without first getting the child's attention. Let's make that real. Imagine your toddler is building a tower in the living room. You call from the kitchen, "Come wash your hands." But your child is fully locked into keeping that tower from falling. In their brain, that tower is the most important thing in the world right now. Or maybe your preschooler is watching their favorite show and you say, "Go put your pajamas on." They don't move. So you say it again, louder this time. Still nothing. Now you're frustrated, they're overwhelmed, and bedtime suddenly turns into a power struggle. Or maybe you're at the park and your child is racing down the slide and you call, "Time to go." But they keep running like you said absolutely nothing. Every parent knows that moment. You're standing there thinking, "Are you serious? I know you heard me." But often, what looks like ignoring is actually a child who hasn't mentally shifted yet. So what can you do instead? First, get close before you give the instruction. Walk over. Gently touch their shoulder if they're comfortable with that. Get down to their level. Let your face and voice become part of their attention. Second, say their name first, then pause. Ella. Small pause. It's time to put your shoes on. That pause matters because it gives your child's brain a second to switch gears. Third, keep instructions short and clear. Young children respond better to one simple direction than a long explanation. Instead of, "Can you please go upstairs, find your pajamas, brush your teeth, and get ready for bed?" Try, "Let's start with pajamas." Fourth, use connection to help with transitions. If your child is deeply involved in something, acknowledge it before redirecting. You're working so hard on that tower. It's hard to stop. Now it's time for dinner. That tiny moment of empathy lowers resistance because your child feels understood, not just controlled. And finally, whenever possible, ask for a small response. "Can you look at me? Can you tell me what we're doing next?" This helps you know whether the message actually landed. Most importantly, please remember this: if your child doesn't respond the first time, it does not automatically mean they are rude, spoiled, or trying to disrespect you. Very often, it means they still need help with attention, transitions, and regulation. and that's something you can teach. Over time, when you consistently connect before you direct, your child learns how to shift attention, listen more easily, and respond with less conflict. Of course, if your child regularly seems unable to hear, process simple language, or respond across many settings, it's always worth speaking with your pediatrician or a child development professional just to rule out hearing, language, or developmental concerns. But for many children, the issue is not that they don't care, it's that their brain needs a better bridge between what they're doing now and what you're asking them to do next. I'd love to hear from you. What's the one instruction your child seems to ignore most often right now? Leave it in the comments below. And if you want more science-backed parenting help that makes everyday behavior finally make sense, follow the Baby Mind Coach for more videos like this. Because sometimes the goal isn't to say it louder, it's to say it in a way your child's brain can actually hear.